Celebrating 100 years of Everett School. Who else to talk to about it but Dr. Ingrid Weimer, the principal here at Everett School. Thanks for having us today.
Sure, thanks for coming.
And so obviously it's been a fun-filled year with a lot of celebrations to celebrate 100 years. One of the main things, though, was this wonderful mural behind us. Can you tell us about the concept?
What we wanted to do was leave a legacy piece. So we knew that if we had displays and presentations, that they would go away over time. They'd be hard to preserve. And so we wanted something that could endure all of us and our time at Everett. And we wanted to make sure that the project included students. So we needed to find an artist that was talented and local and willing to have our students be a part of the process and really teach our students how this type of art could be created and what they could contribute to it. And so one of our APT parents, Jan McDougall, and I, we set out and we visited the murals that Mark had done in other schools like Sears School and of course at the high school and some other places. And so we knew that he was the right person and he stepped forward to work with us and collaborate.
What were some of your favorite artifacts that you received?
Unbeknownst to me, there was a time capsule that was created for the 75th anniversary of Everett School. The time capsule was buried in our basement. Not exactly buried, but hidden in the basement. So we got a random call from a former teacher, Brian Wolf, and he came and he opened up the time capsule and he's sharing the artifacts with our students because we're going to be creating our own time capsule on June 9th. We'll reseal the one from the 75th, we'll seal ours together, and we'll put those in the basement to be opened up in another 100 years.
So who would you like to thank for this wonderful celebration and the wonderful mural?
Well, in addition to Mark McMahon, Gail Galloway, who is also an artist, she partnered with Maria Galuzzi, our art teacher, to help our students create the tiles that form the perimeter of the mural. So we certainly want to thank Mark and Maria and Gail. And my partner in the whole project was Jan McDougall, one of our parents, and she was a great help, and she rallied a whole committee of parents that helped us with our celebration in April. And the Lake Forest and Lake Bluff Historical Society were wonderful.
What are some of your favorite things that happened this year?
Well, one of the things that we were really excited about was getting the kids to learn a lot about the history of the last 100 years here in Lake Forest and how Everett School came to be what it is today. So for each of the grades, the teachers were given 2 decades to research with their students and to do projects to learn more about what was going on nationally and locally and specifically with Everett School. So we worked closely with the Historical Society to get all the local information, and the kids really dove into these projects and I think walked away with a much greater understanding and appreciation of our community. So for instance, most of the kids here didn't know that this wasn't the first Everett School. So the first Everett School actually was built at the corner of Everett and Telegraph Road where the current Lake Forest Fire Station is. Wow. And that building opened in 1914 and was just a small 2-room school at that point in time with a basement that housed a lunchroom and a place for kids to do art and that kind of thing. It wasn't until 1957 that this building was opened. With the growth of West Lake Forest, there was a need for a bigger and better facility. So this school was started at that time, and that was something the kids were not aware of. And in addition to the projects that I was telling you about, where the children researched the last 100 years, we wanted to have a commemorative piece for this celebration, so the kids were kind of contributing to the history of their school. So we commissioned Mark McMahon and his assistant Gail Galloway to create this beautiful mural. And Mark and Gail started working in the school back in January. Mark would come in and sketch the students in action. And then he, after some review process, he decided which pictures to include in the mural, and he collaged them together, and the finished product is what you see today. And then Gail actually came in and worked closely with the students to create all these handmade tiles that go around Mark's beautiful work. And those are a reflection of things that the students thought were important to commemorate here at Everett School. And it was really a great process because it was something that the kids were involved with from the ground level. You know, they have a personal touch in this mural, and I think Mark's done an excellent job of reflecting all the unique things that Everett School represents.
You have kids at the school?
I do. I have one third grader, Ashley.
Where's her tile? Let's check it out.
Her tile, I do know. It's right down here. It's the lunchbox. Of course, now
Is that it?
that's the lunchbox. Or no, it's this one. That's the lunchbox right there. And I also just wanted to add, you know, in addition to this great mural, we had a wonderful celebration event here at Everett School where the kids showcased all their work from their historical projects. The mural was unveiled, and it was open to the community to come and share in this experience. And that was an important part of also what we wanted to get out to the community is sharing all this historical research, because we realize that history is only as good as the people that learn about it and see it. So we felt like we were contributing to our community by sharing all this information.
It sounds like you learned a lot when you were doing some of the research along with the Historical Society and the library. What were some of the most interesting things that you found out about Everett School?
Well, you know, one of the most unique things is this beautiful Everett school bell that we have. It's been restored from the original 1914 school, and it sits in the foyer here at the current Everett school.
Yeah.
The kindergartners were actually in charge of learning about the bell and the story behind it. And what happened was when the bell was taken out of the original school back in 1957, the original custodian, his name was Gene Seil, he took the bell and kept it for safekeeping until, you know, they could find a new home. And it didn't find a home here. It stayed with his family for several years, actually until 1994.
Wow.
When Shirley Paddock, a longtime Lake Forest resident, she knew someone from the Seil family that was in possession of the bell, and she encouraged them to return the bell to Everett School. And along with Pauline Moore from the Preservation Society, they worked together to restore the bell, ship it back here to Lake Forest, and they gave it to Everett School for its 80th birthday celebration.
Tell me a little bit about what your role was in getting this beautiful mural on the wall.
I presented the concept to the children and worked with them. Actually, I came into each classroom twice. Once to present it, and to actually help the children create it. And then later on in the process, I went back in to talk about how to glaze it. So we had made up, regular drawing paper with a 4x4 square on it, with their names on
And
it.
these are 4x4? These
Yes,
bordered ones?
Mark's
Okay.
tiles are 6x6, and the other ones are 4x4.
Okay.
And so they were to draw a drawing inside that 4x4 square
Okay.
of an idea that they might want to create. And they had to make a slab, which is just a flat piece of clay, and trace around a template to make it 4x4.
Oh, you gave them a square so that they had a square slab.
Yes.
I'm learning some stuff today. Here we go. Okay.
And then the hard part is to create the image raised from the surface. It's not carving into the clay, it's building the clay up. Can I show you how,
Sure, yeah.
you know, like, some of the ideas were art. There's a palette with a little brush here. There was science. These are beakers.
Oh yeah, that would be hard to do just with your hand, that's for sure.
For
So,
sure,
of
and they had to
course.
make the little shape out of another piece of clay and attach it on and make
That's
it
pretty
into
impressive.
it. This one was the Spirit of '67 because our fundraiser people were so helpful, and APT as well.
Thank you, Spirit of 67 and APT.
Yeah, but the point is, and actually I got to show you this one. You know what this one is? It says 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. This is supposed to be the stock market.
I was going to say.
And I will never forget that because I'm thinking, oh my goodness. Anyway, Mark's tiles are two-dimensional. They don't stick up from the surface. And these are three-dimensional. They're in relief. And then we had texture tiles where the kids just pushed items into clay
Let's see
to
some
give it
seashells.
roughness and
Wow.
interest in design.
What is that, a screen maybe?
Or a fork that might have
okay,
just
yeah.
made scratches into the surface.
Wow. So Gail, all of these tiles and all of these children, you couldn't possibly execute all that yourself. You had to have some help with this.
I did. The art teacher, Maria Galusi, was wonderful, helping me with materials and helping me with the children's names and learning them and how to do all that. And after I did the glazing process, which was when I went back into the classroom and we would pour glaze into little cups and they would brush that on to each one of their tiles after it had been fired once. It's pink. And
Oh.
the kids didn't understand that. Well, why am I making it pink? But I had to, in a fun way, explain that actually it's clear. It's kind of magic. Trust me. It's pink now, but after it comes out of the kiln, it'll be clear and shiny. It's going to look really, really great.
So the clay started out gray, and then it appeared pink for them. for a
No,
while.
it starts out gray, and then it gets fired first,
Uh-huh.
and that makes it white,
Oh, okay. All
but a
right.
dull, kind of chalky white.
Okay.
And then it gets glazed again, and it comes out shiny white. It's
Okay, all right,
transparent.
okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And Maria, again, then after that process, Maria was the go-to person for helping with all the kiln work and firing it and putting it in and taking it out. We helped around the edges, Mark and I both did, but in general, she really, really helped out with that a lot. So we were really grateful for her help.
Let's see, we got social contract, we got responsible, listen to speaker, follow directions.
Yes, I'll be checking this off when you do this. Are you treating the tools properly? When you open the door, do you use the handle or do you just yank it open? See, I'm going to be watching you.
I didn't, are these rules to the classroom or?
Yes,
Okay, and so were there also rules to the mural out in the hallway as well?
absolutely. Well, we follow these rules when we create the mural.
And what were some of the things that you did in being involved in this mural out there?
Starting from the discussion with the students about creating a relief tile, talking about introducing the idea of a prominent Lake Forest artist is going to be coming and joining their work with his work. They were really excited about that. I like to think that they are the greatest artists in Lake Forest. No offense to Mr. McMahon.
You guys hear that? You guys are the greatest artists ever. We have real kids here. That's not fake kid noise. We have real kids here.
And so we started off just by discussing symbols and what they mean and how they could represent 100 years of Everett Elementary School. And we started drawing. I did tell them this is the first time that we're going to be choosing pieces that they've drawn. We're not going to just say okay for the first one. So they took it very seriously.
Wow, when you're drafting things like that, then yeah, this is a process.
Hey.
Not to mention they know it's going to be up on that wall
Yes.
for quite some time.
Yes.
No pressure at all, right?
No, they were very excited.
Okay. And so, did you have to send this out to a kiln somewhere in the other side of town? Or
No,
what?
we are lucky enough to have a kiln right here in the art room. This is our beautiful kiln. Also, this was actually a grant that the Spirit also granted us.
Thank you, Spirit of 67.
Yeah, about 10 years ago. So it's relatively new. It can hold, it's on right now. It can hold probably 2 class worths of clay. So we had to continually, every day I was loading and unloading the kiln.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yes, but
Probably
it's fun.
you just said it is fun. I was thinking that like working with the kids would be fun, but loading this thing would not be fun.
Well, it
but-
was kind of a treat because I was the first one to see the finished tiles. So I got the, number one access to everything that was coming out of the kiln. So I got to see it first, and I was like, so excited. I was talking to Dr. Weimer about it, like, oh, you got to come by and see. So we had a lot of fun. We had fun, obviously, working with the kids. That's why I'm a teacher. But getting to see the fruition of their hard work was really a treat.
Great, and it's obviously a treat also to be a part of something that's going to be on the wall in the school for generations to come too.
Absolutely, to be part of the legacy. I mean, we're first of all, we're part of 100 years, which is mind-blowing to comprehend. But the idea that the children's children can come back and see their work is going to be really exciting, and I think so beneficial to all the students.
I heard that you had a starring role in the actual mural itself too. Do you think that Mark did you justice?
Well, I wouldn't
No
have
pressure
minded.
considering Mark is standing right over there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded. I don't know, maybe a better beauty shot, higher cheekbones, but
Oh, you
I
didn't get
kid,
your
I
good
kid.
side?
I
Oh,
know,
man.
but no, it was great. It was really an honor. I was quite surprised and touched that I was in it. Also, if we could shut this door, our Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. It's one of our stars in our art room. The kids love it. We love it. That is also a starring character in the mural. So it's very prominent.
And it had to be pretty cool to work with an artist who has been featured so prominently in Chicagoland too.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
Mark, we meet again 6 years later.
Good to see
Another
you.
mural. Good to see you too. So the mural looks similar, although I'm thinking you did a different concept this time around. This is a tile mural, is that right?
This is a tile mural. The one we did before was at Croya, and that was painted on the wall mural and stuff. And this one is a ceramic tile. This is similar to Lake Forest High School's mural.
Okay.
And then my other murals around Chicago, things like that.
And this one seems like it was a little bit longer of a process than the Croya mural. Is it about the same, or is it a little bit longer?
No, this one's got a lot of different steps in it. The processes that you have to put this through, you have to build easels, you have to come up with the concept, you have to work on that concept. Here you're taking your line work and you're silk screening it onto the tiles, and then you have to, by putting it through all the processes, you have to then take the tiles, put them on a huge easel, and then paint them in glazes and then fire them. And each step is an individual problem. My biggest mural is down in the South Loop of Chicago. It's 125 feet by 8, and it took 1.5 years. And the high school mural took 2.5 years to build that mural.
Wow.
So.
Is that the only thing you're working on during that 2.5 year period, or are you
No.
multitasker, right?
No, you have to do all the other jobs that come in so you can pay, make enough money to eat while you're doing these murals and stuff. Got to eat.
A well-fed artist is a happy artist.
That is true. A well-fed family of an artist is a happy family. So
I can appreciate that.
yeah.
So I'm picturing you with a tile in your hand at your home in your rocking chair, drawing on each one. Am I wrong? Or?
You are wrong about that.
First time ever I've been wrong.
Yeah,
Okay, so how does this process work?
What it is you take, you do the drawings, so you go and you meet with the people you're doing the mural for. In this case, it's the 100th anniversary. So what you then do is you start wandering around the school and you try and get the activities of the students around the school. So you sit amongst the kids and you just start drawing, and the kids, for the first 5 minutes, are stirred up that you're sitting in the middle of them.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, that's
why
right.
is he in here?
Yeah, who's the big kid? So then you start your drawings amongst them, and then within 5 minutes, you're in them. So then you're in there with the kids, and you can wander from class to class and draw, and it doesn't cause a lot of havoc. But what you find out in this mural, you find out, since I did my last mural in a school, the computer has taken over. So in this mural, computer drawings, kids working on computers has played an important part.
I noticed there are some
Yeah,
kids on computers in a couple of these.
Yeah, the
here.
kids are in the classroom here, and they're down in this section, they're on the floor. And this is the old school where you have the live animals and things like that and that. But the kids are sitting in amongst them with the computers on their laps.
Where's this from? This is I see an alligator or something.
Yeah, this is from one of the 3rd or 4th grade classes here.
Oh, really? Okay.
And they have a name for that lizard, and then they got the turtle over here. And then out the window are the birds hitting the bird feeder and stuff. It's sort of a science that they're teaching there.
So obviously you didn't make the decisions as to what was going to be included on this mural. You worked with the principal here and some other a committee of folks as to what was going to be included in this. Right?
Yeah, what I did is I went and did drawings around of what's going on today. But then when we came to the history section, I did some drawings and we started talking about them. And there were some other sections like that are important to the school, like the waving of the handkerchiefs at the end of the school time. The bell, which I knew when I walked in the front door was going to happen with the eagle.
Of course.
And stuff.
Symbolic.
And yeah, and it's also the school symbol is the eagle. And then the Everett school sign over the bell and stuff. And then the old school building that I knew as a kid here in town. And this is Gail and Maria making the tiles for the mural with the kids.
Oh, okay, that's the actual making of the mural in the mural.
It's in the art room
Very cool.
making the tiles that the kids did on the borders. And then you run into other problems when you're building is you have to come across and you got a fire hydrant. And my McDonald's mural on Waukegan Road, we got fire hydrants, we got all kinds of things like that. So we had to, we luckily remembered that we had the fire hydrant, so I had to shift everything down.
Otherwise, this face
Oh
would
no,
have
I
gone
think
away.
we would have been right in the middle of Kathy's face there.
Was it Kathy's birthday? Is that why she's got the
It
crown
is,
on?
yeah, it's her birthday.
She
so
gets to celebrate it here
the
forever.
kids all get to wear one of those.
So what are some of the other scenes that we have here? What are these colors up here?
Well, it's in a classroom where they're learning their letters, and that's probably a first grade class.
Okay.
And the different subjects that they have on the wall. What you're doing is you're trying to tell the story of the kids today, and then with the history of it, you have little pieces in there. So that was sort of my job to oversee that and work on that and make sense out of it. Now the line work here is put on by using big silk screens, by laying the tiles on the floor, and then with huge silk screens of the line drawing that we all okayed at the end, we then silk screened the line work on, and we built large easels in a classroom here, and then went about painting the tiles in the classroom. And Maria, the art teacher here, fired all the tiles for the mural.
I know, Mark, you had taken over a classroom, and you had the big wooden board, and you were working on the tiles. We had the time-lapse video of that we did. How did the process work when you're taking things from that classroom and bringing it over here and actually getting it on the wall? You had some help with that, didn't you?
Oh, well, sure. Classic Tile came in. We talked with them when we first did the project, and they said they were interested in setting the tile mural. And so what we did here is each tile has a number on the back that it fits onto the wall in. So in this mural, it's sort of easy. You could have pieced this together like a puzzle sitting on a coffee table. But in my bigger murals, the numbers go and go and go when you're dealing with a 100-foot mural and stuff. So here, each tile has its place in the mural. And then when we did the fire extinguisher, we had a basic idea where we were coming in. So we knew where the numbers would come, but then you have to, that's why you have to go to your math class and stuff like that, because we did a little math and we did a little bopping and weaving to figure out where this was going to fit. And even when you're setting the mural, you're cold sweating that you're going to cut somebody's head off. So this was pretty good. This worked out pretty good.
Amazing to me how many headaches you got from what looks like a small fire alarm.
Oh, yeah, but you could have really had a problem.
Yeah, right. Is there a layer of glaze over the whole thing as well?
No, it's fired. It's just ceramic tile murals. I mean, this is like the ones in your bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're there to stay.
Are you saying you could put a mural in my bathroom?
Well, we could, you see, and stuff, but it'd have to be a nice bathroom. But and you'd have to have a lot of visitors in your bathroom. So these are glazed on top, and then you clear coat it with a clear seal. Okay. And that seal seals it, but it all fires at the same time.
That must be the clear coat that I'm kind of thinking that would be over here, but that's not the last step. That's part of the firing process, huh?
That's the last step of preparing the tiles before they go to the fire. Okay. Then they go to the fire. Each tile is handled about 18 times before it goes on the wall. So what Croya mural took about a week to paint it on the wall. This one took about 4 months to prepare this, from the beginning to the end with the conversations.
Wow.
And things like that.
Quite a bit more work. Or was it less?
Well, it always is. When they ask you to do a mural like this, you have that moment you get off the phone and you go, oh my gosh, here we go. Because you know what's coming and stuff. Everybody else just thinks this is going to be a nice looking mural.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, it just goes up on the wall and stuff. But you sort of go, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? So.
Yeah, well, you told me all about the process last time when we were talking about the Croya mural. I had no idea that there was a scientific, mathematical process along with it. It's not just Mark drawing on the wall here, you know?
No, you have to work it out, because in the pricing of just the materials, you have to know exactly right on. And I think we hit this pretty close. We came into this within about a couple inches, I think, and stuff. You never know, and stuff. So.
I understand that we have some friends that are in the mural, besides all the children. Dr. Weimer is right here?
Yeah, Ingrid's here. Maria is here.
Oh, okay.
This is Gail.
Gail's your right-hand woman for this project?
Yeah. Gail is the reasons we have border tiles because of Gail. So, and then Ashley's here. Jan's daughter is in there. And then a boy just came up, this little boy, he came up and just talked to me a little bit ago. Everybody knows where they are in the mural and stuff.
Well, you never forget something like that.
Yeah. The kids are all excited about it,
And for
and
generations.
they all know their tiles that they worked on and stuff. So.
And hopefully for generations to come, they'll bring their kids here and they'll bring their grandkids here and say, look, there I was in 2nd grade. Or
Well, if they stumble across this, they'll remember that they did it.
never know.
So yeah.
Never know. All right. Well, thanks again, Mark.
Hey, sure.
As always, it's a wonderful addition to the Everett community, and here's to another 100 years of Everett that you and I won't see.
Well, thanks for coming out and looking at it again.
That's
You know,
lovely.
we keep doing them as the phone rings.
Exactly.
So.
All right.